Hi everyone, this is Nehad from Bio with Nehad channel. Today we're going to continue the biochemistry. Let's start with lipids. Here you can find some examples of lipids. This is an example of a meal that has many unhealthy fats. So we have here the fried potato fried in oil, and here we have some cheese, and the burger itself it's full of fats. But in this picture you can find healthy lipids. So you can here find the avocado, and this one is the salmon fish, um, that one is the olive oil, the nuts. All of them are healthy types of lipids. We're going to explain now the structure and function of lipids. The structure of lipids, here we have a molecule of lipids, and it's made mainly of oxygen, hydrogen, and carbon atoms. You can see here the carbon atoms in the middle. It's carbon skeleton. Its name is carbon skeleton because it supports the whole, it's in the center, the middle of each molecule, and they are connected, all of them, the hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen, carbon to carbon, all of them, they are connected by covalent bonds. Actually, when you add oil to water, you will feel like already. You will not feel. You know already that they don't mix. Okay, so it's not a mixture. They still having two separate layers. Oil will be above the water layer because it's less dense. So you know already that it's insoluble or hydrophobic. The function of lipids, number one, it's a long-term energy storage. So whenever your body has carbohydrates, it will not break down the lipids to get energy. So the easier way and the fastest way is obtaining energy from carbohydrates. And this is actually the main idea of the keto diet. So you eat fats, you stop eating carbohydrates. So what will happen? Your body will break down fats to get energy, and this is actually will decrease the amount of fats in your body. Number two, the insulator. So all the polar animals, they have below their skin an entire layer of lipids. So and they have blubbers. So all of these, they are insulators. Insulators means that they prevent the cold weather from penetrating their fat layer. Number three, it is involved in some cell structures, and we'll be talking about some examples of these cell structures. The main constituent of the cell membrane, it's the phospholipid bilayer. So the phospholipid bilayer, this is one unit of the phospholipid bilayer. It is made of head and two tails. The head is hydrophilic, and the internal part, or this one, is the tail, that it's made of fatty acids, and it's hydrophobic. Actually, it helps the cell membrane to perform its function because all the heads, as you see, they are facing the outer and inner environment. So this one is the outer part of the cell, outside the cell, and this part, the inner part of the cell. So um, the hydrophilic heads, they are just facing the two outer environment, inside the cell and outside the cell. And the hydrophobic tails, they are actually hiding inside or in between the two heads. So from what you see, the phospholipid bilayer, it's two layers. Bi means two, so it's two layers. They are facing each other, okay, and they actually help the cell membrane to perform its function, which is the selective permeability to choose whatever enters or goes out the cell according to the cell needs. So the wastes, for example, they will be um, going outside, or the nutrients or a certain amount of water will just enter inside the cell. We have another example of lipids. We have again the cholesterol in the cell membrane structure. The cholesterol is only holding the heads together of the cell of the phospholipid bilayer of the cell membrane. And we have another function for that cholesterol. It makes the steroid, and these steroids they make many different structures in your body as the sex hormones. This is actually the good cholesterol, but we have a bad cholesterol. The bad cholesterol, the one that blocks the arteries, and they cause a lot of health complications, and we'll be talking about this part as well. Here we're going to classify the lipids into three categories according to their structure and their function. So we have fats, we have phospholipids, we have steroids. The structure of the fats, it's actually one molecule of glycerol and three fatty acids. That's why it's head and three tails, or just like. And it's called a triglyceride because of this structure, because of the three tails. So tri means three. For the phospholipids, it's so close, and we just talked about that one, that it has only two tails. So one glycerol and two fatty acids, two tails. And for all the small units, they are connected together by the dehydration process to give the big molecule of lipids. And the structure of the phospholipid, actually it's a part of the cell membrane, as we just said. The steroids, it has four fused rings. They are connected together again to give the steroid. And we just said that steroid, it gives a lot of structures like the sex hormones. But when we talk about lipids as a polymer, actually it's more as a large molecule, a macromolecule, biological macromolecule. But actually it has no monomers, because as you see here we have different units, so it has no monomer, no specific monomer. Like for example, amino acids together they give protein. um, the monosaccharides, they give the glucose, the carbohydrates. So it's not like that. So it's not that much a polymer, because it doesn't have actually monomers. It has some units connected to each other by dehydration process, and it's not that big like the other macromolecules. This actually brings us to more classification. We are gonna classify fats into two categories, and they are saturated and unsaturated fats. The saturated fats, to just imagine while we are explaining, this is the batter. It's solid at room temperature, and this one is the oils, olive oil and corn oil, liquid at room temperature. The main difference, as you see, what do you think the difference? This is the difference, the main one, that this one has a straight carbon chain, or a straight carbon backbone, and this one has a bent one. Can you notice just where it bends? It bends here. When we have a double chain. So this one is straight because all of them, they are single bond, and here we have a double bond, so we have this part bends. This one has the maximum number of hydrogen, and that's because it has two single bonds on the two sides. So we have here a room for two more bonds for the hydrogen, to add hydrogen. But actually here it's double bond. So when we have double bond here, you will cancel one of the hydrogen. Why? Because we said the carbon has to have only four covalent bonds, and this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we cancelled one of the hydrogen. So in the unsaturated, because we have double bonds, we have lower number of hydrogen. So basically we have two types of fats, but we have the transformation of the unsaturated to the saturated, which is the trans fats. The trans fats, if you heard about it, it's so dangerous, and it associated with many health risks, because actually this is the unsaturated, and when we break that bond we will be adding hydrogen instead, because we just said that each carbon atom, it has to have four around it, four covalent bonds, because it has four valence electrons. So when we remove one of the bonds here, it will be single instead of double. So we have one room here for one hydrogen and one room here for another hydrogen. Okay, so this one will be surrounded by four covalent, this one will be surrounded by four covalent. This is the conversion by adding hydrogen. It is called the hydrogenation. So the hydrogenated vegetable oils, it's a kind of trans fats. When you buy any kind of chips, or when you just buy any type of sweets, you can check at the back if it's not trans fats 0%, don't buy it. If it's 1%, don't touch it, because it's actually so dangerous. Question time. So actually fats often get a bad reputation. It's associated to like health risks and many diseases and problems to your body. So do you think all types of fats are harmful to your body, or some of them are beneficial? Surprisingly, we have the unsaturated fats. It's part of your heart healthy diet that actually lowers the bad cholesterol that we talked about before. This is your arteries. As long as you eat healthy, you eat only unsaturated fats, like in limited amounts, and you are away from unsaturated, from saturated and trans fats. And these are your arteries. When the bad cholesterol actually is accumulated here, and by time it will block, totally block the artery, and this is actually a big problem, because this artery, if it's in the heart, it will give the heart attack. If it's in the brain, it will give the stroke. So what causes that? Actually, the saturated fats and the trans fats, as we said, they are unhealthy, and those two, they deserve this bad reputation, okay, because they increase the amount of bad cholesterol in your body, in your blood. Thank you for watching, and wait for the next video, proteins. Subscribe to my channel and follow. Thank you so much.